Howdy, everybody in YouTube land. What we have in front of us today is a Chyron CODI character generator. Now, I'm not so much into the whole character generator thing. I mean, they're cool, don't get me wrong. I like these little boxes, but they're not really my thing. So, on another note, I'm trying to use this gimbal with my new phone, and my new phone's too wide. It doesn't fit. And I've noticed that with this gimbal. You can't put modern phones in it, only the older ones. But anyways, not to get too far off the track here. So this CODI Chyron, I actually bought it for a friend of mine because he's super into these things, and I did it as a surprise because it needs some repair work, and that's not really something he's comfortable with doing. So we're going to see if we can't fix this guy and get it at least relatively working, because I don't have the software to actually control this thing, and for some reason the gimbal keeps drifting. I hate this thing. Anyways, the only kind of memory that I have with this particular box, or at least something like this, is think back to the 90s. Anyone that was around in the 90s, there was a lot of local network TV stations that would put the bugs in the corner of the screen that would say severe thunderstorm watch or tornado watch or flood watch warning, stuff like that. And there would be a crawl at the top of the screen that would say the WKRC's, the weather authority, has, issued a severe thunderstorm watch for your viewing area, blah, 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 blah. It was probably one of these boxes that generated that. And the only memories I have of something like this is, and unfortunately there's no archived footage. If anybody has archived footage from the Cincinnati area from the 90s during severe weather outbreaks, let me know or post it on YouTube or something, because I can't find any of it. And I can draw it from memory, because prior to the map-based products, where in the SGI Silicon Graphics era of the late 90s, a lot of stations started implementing Weather Pro, which had the little, the area maps that showed the watches and warnings in your area. Prior to that, they only showed the symbol, like a snowflake or an actual tornado symbol or a lightning bolt symbol or a thunderstorm cloud symbol, and that's all they did. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know, because that question still remains unanswered today, but I'm fairly certain it was something like this that generated it, if not this directly, because this can do primitive graphics along with text and stuff like that. So, and these things were everywhere at one point, so these were probably in every TV station across the country for generating on-screen, lower display line, what do you call that, like the news anchor names and stuff like that. But anyways, so I distinctly remember it. I remember what WKRC, I can't remember if it was WCPO or WKRC, but I distinctly remember back in the 90s in the summer times when mom was watching her soap operas and stuff like that, remember seeing the actual primitive tornado symbol, and it said watch or warning or something like that. And I can actually draw them out from memory, since even though there's no archive footage, I could draw them out from memory. In fact, I'll place it right here in the corner of the video of what that station used to transmit and show on air, and I'm pretty sure it was something like this. Anyways, moving right along. So this does not work. We don't know what's going on with it yet. I've got to get a power cord plugged into it, and let's see what we can figure out with this thing. So here we go. Power cord into the wall. Alright. Because I'm pretty sure this box does gen locking and all of that stuff too, because it has the capability of doing that for television station overlays and stuff like that. I mean, it wouldn't even surprise me if a box like this was used to just simply insert the station logo on the on-air programming, where you would have, like, in my local area, we had Star 64, which was over here, and it was just Star 64. It wouldn't surprise me if it was something like that that generated that. Anyways, all right, what does this thing do? Oh, God, it sounds bad. It's running though. Alright, well, I am curious what we got going on because from what I understood in the auction listing from when I bought it is this thing made a lot of motorboating and pulsating noises, but this time it seems to be firing it up. I mean, it is kind of warm in my house right now, so it's entirely possible that it's warmer so it's not acting up. Because when this thing was made, I'm going to say this was made in the early to mid 90s, which puts it right in that, favorite era. So that's what I think is going on here is we've got capacitor spooge everywhere. I've not opened it up yet, so I don't know. Now is a first reveal. No, I don't see anything blown. No blown capacitors or anything like that. But wow, this thing has got massive amount of logic in there. You have at least 4 banks of memory. You got 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 4 banks, and then there's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there's 4. Some are wider than the others. So my only thought process with that is we've got dual port memory, and then we got main system memory. And we have 3 Brooktree BT478s, which these are 256 color 888 RGB outputs. Why do they need 3 of them? There's two assumptions here. One, they could be using a dedicated one for each color so they can get 8-bit red, 8-bit green, 8-bit blue. Or perhaps they got indexed color for all 3 and they can just kind of overlay them together, mix them together. I'm not sure. That's a strange one to me, but let's see. Let's look at this power supply. May 1995. So it should be newer than the plague era. Well, the leaky era, but oh yeah. Look at all that crap everywhere. You see these it looks like oil because that's electrolyte solution. So this thing is full of electrolyte. Oh, we've got all our voltages. Yeah, this thing is making a very high-pitched whine and squeals. And that one cap here is actually getting warm. Look at that. See that? Yeah. That's what it was doing in the auction listing. Alright. Well, we know what our fault is. We got to pull that power supply out and recap it because I have a funny feeling that's what it is. And actually, I just realized this is the same power supply manufacturer that's in the WeatherStar 4000. This is distinct. Yeah, it is. Right here, Power 1. It's the same design. Oh god, look at what the cap juices did. It's just eating the screen print away off that diode. So yeah, this thing's got to go. We got to get this thing recapped. So the interesting thing is how do I get this out of here? Because I can unplug this Molex connector. But where are you going? Okay, you're going all the way around here. No, I am not fighting with that. So we're just going to unscrew it all right here. Because no, I'm not messing with that. Because that's just asking for it. So we'll just take all this out. Same thing here. Well, that's also interesting. Instead of having a black and a white, we've got a white and a white. Okay. I guess. Alright, let's get this thing out. I will say this, though. There's a lot of fancy components in here. A lot of these little FPGAs, or maybe even their CPLDs that are programmed. This thing was not cheap when it was new. All the analog devices components, the Burr Brown filter networks, these things are not, this thing was not cheap. No way. Yeah, this is a cool little power supply. So, it's a Power 1 MAP 55-4002. We have 55 watts of continuous power. We got dual 12 volt negative 12 volt rails at 1 amp, and then another 12 volt rail at 3 amp, and then a 5 volt rail at 6 amp. So in theory, you could probably just replace this with, you know, a modern flex ATX type power supply and it would be fine, but why not? Let's just continue to go for originality and fix this one. It wouldn't make a good video anyways if we just hacked in an ATX power supply. Now that I have the board removed out of its little shroud over there, careful, there's a ton of heatsink compound over here. But I'm looking at it, and sure enough, you can see the wet spots at the bottom. But it hasn't been wet long enough to start corroding the copper, so that's really good. But I'm looking at it, and yeah, this is a 330-35 PL series. Yep, I think that's one of the known series to leak, too. PL series, PL, yeah, they're all junk. They all gotta go. There's 4 330s at 35, which I don't think I have, but I do have 470s, and they'll work. Then I have 2200s, which I do have. 470 at 10, I have those. These main filters I do not have. But it's rare that they're bad anyways. Yeah, ugh, I can smell the cap juice. Got on my finger. Yep. God, it's so bad. Alright, well. Dang it. What did I just say? I just warned myself. And it's inevitable. I'm just going to stick my fingers in anyways. So to get to that capacitor down there, we have to remove that nut. And that is in like the absolute most awesome space for a nut to be in. I love it. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, this might actually be the worst power supply I've seen since the Macintosh Classic, because that's bad. I'm going to have to wash this thing because, I mean, look at that. So that's the PL series, and even these little ones are leaking, which is the PF series, and I know those are leakers. Alright, so all that has to go. I've got my capacitor list ready to go here. So that's the list for those of you who want to order up your own if you're working on one of these power supplies. So in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and get this thing washed up and cleaned because it is gross. It's not going to work right until it's all cleaned. And this diode here may have to be replaced. I don't know yet. After a nice wash and dry job, it is much cleaner now. All that capacitor goo has essentially disappeared on the board. Now, some of these have been stripped of their screen print from the cap goo, but hopefully it's good. We're going to find out. If it starts pulsating and weird things, it's probably these diodes eating away from the capacitor juice because it leaked the worst over here, but we shall find out. So anyways, we need to recap this thing. I have all the caps put together here. And here we go. And there we go. All the new capacitors are installed. And we should be good to go. So I can get this power supply put back in. I got to get some thermal compound back on here, and here, before I put it back in that case over there. But I think we'll be alright. Alright. Now I don't have the screws put in here, but I do have the power supply loosely fitted in. So, well, it's either... God, this thing's so heavy. It's either now or never. Does it work? Or does it blow up into a ball of flames? And I can never get this thing right. Never, ever, ever. Okay, it goes like that. Alright. Alright, here we go. Well, it's on. Fans sound like absolute ass, but it's on. Okay, now, you know what we got to do next. We have to check voltages. No. 13 volts, it's a little high. Negative 12.1. 5.1 is okay. feel like we're missing a voltage. Let's see. 12 volt. Negative 12. 13.7. 5. That's right. So everything looks good except for that, that's a little high. But that might be alright. And if not, there's an adjustment right here that I can use to adjust it. So I think we'll be alright there. Okay, the CODI is running, but I need to figure out how to test this thing because I don't have the software. I don't have any of those things to actually test this thing. Well, unfortunately, there is no software for this box. There used to be, but it has never been archived. So WinMaster CG or whatever it's called was never archived. So if anyone has it anywhere, let me know because it's gone. These are more commonly used for dedicated hardware setups connected into like, EAS or something like that. But in theory, this thing should generate SMPTE bars by default when you turn it on. So let's find out. It does. What the hell? And then it goes away. That might be normal, I'm not sure, but it does. It generated SMPTE bars, so I presume it's working, but I don't have an easy way to actually test this thing. Alright, so now apparently these boxes, these DASDEC boxes, are supposed to be compatible with this CODI. Now, I don't know if it's a null modem serial or if it's straight through, because my null modem serials are dual female and it won't plug in. So I just grabbed a straight through because the thing is, it says right here. Well, we'll see. Anyways, I'm in the DASDEC now. We're gonna do Chyron CODI background color. We'll see if that works. Okay. See what happens here. That is a no. Almost. That's a no. Only conclusion that I can draw here is I need to kill this thing. The baud rate settings are wrong. Alright, well, this was set to 19200. I just changed it to 9600. So let's try this again. Actually, this test thing is still going, but it may not let me do it. Oh, maybe it will. Let's see. Does it work this time? It does! It does. It works. Here's the baud rate. I had a feeling. It's working. So there we go. We have a repaired character generator. It's back alive. How about one last test for good measure? I've changed some settings here. Slower and bigger. Now, I did turn on the background banner, and it doesn't show. And it doesn't give me the option to set the color for that either. So I wonder if that's because I don't have a video input going into it. Not sure. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is a fully working Chyron CODI. And all it needed was the power supply rebuilt. Now, I don't know if this thing has logic issues or anything like that. It's been running for a while now, and it doesn't seem like it does, other than the occasional serial blips, but that's just the nature of serial. Otherwise, it works fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and pack this back up and send it down the road to the friend of mine that I bought it for, and we're going to move on to the next one. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and all that fun stuff. If you have a comment, please feel free to leave one. Until next time, guys, thank you for watching.